What is up, y'all? Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter than normal, but I wanted to take some time to go ahead and show you guys a couple of things that we had found that just didn't get recorded for one reason or another. But these items could definitely bring a pretty good return on reselling. And so I figured we'll go ahead and show you what kind of jewelry we've come across lately, and we'll give them a test and see how they do. All right, so for the first item, we ended up coming across a ring. This is a beautiful ring. As you can see inside of there, it's got 4 different diamonds inside of it. And if we pull it out, this thing is marked with 14K, and it also has a maker's mark in there. I'm not sure if you guys can see that or not on the camera, but it is marked 14K. And I wanted to go ahead and run it through some tests and see if it is. So the first test that we'll do is we're gonna go ahead and take a look at these diamonds. I'm gonna use this cheap diamond tester here, but it does work very well to tell if these are actual diamonds. And it does appear to be diamonds. So that's a good first sign. Now, let's go ahead and check out whether it passes the acid test. All right, so I'm gonna start running these through some tests. One of them being the acid test, very common test, very commonly used test. Ours specifically looks like this. We got it on Amazon, and inside we use it quite a bit. So you can see our rag is kind of jacked, but we'll probably be getting a new one here shortly. But anyway, it comes with bottles in here, and these are little bottles of acids that will go ahead and eat away at certain carats. So that's a 10K. Here's a 14K, and you just test up to it. And basically what happens is if you have a gold that is 14K, then you should be able to drop this on there and it won't disappear. If it is fake, then it'll most likely, it'll disappear. It'll dissolve rather quickly, and you will know right away that you have a fake. All right, so this is gonna be the acid test. Basically what you do is you take your piece and you're gonna scratch a line in, and then what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and take your solution here, your acid, and you're going to start with the 10K acid here, and we're going to see if this dissolves it or not. And you drop a little drop or two on here, and we can see that the gold color is still there. So it's past 10K. Let's get to 14K. Obviously that's a really good start. We'll try the 14K acid here as I spill it on the table. A little bit more on the table, why not? And as you can see, it is smoking in here. That's cool. But as you can see, it's not gone away. So I guess last but not least, we can try 18K, but we know that that's probably going to dissolve. Let me go ahead and make another mark here real quick. And I will put this on here, and this should dissolve this. And as you can see, it's now gone. So definitely dissolved it rather quickly there, and that shows that this is in fact 14K. Okay, so last but not least, now that we know that it is in fact 14K, the diamonds are in fact real, we're gonna go ahead and weigh it in grams and see what we come up with here. 3.5 grams. So if I had to guess, I would say with that weight and this design, which is very, very intricate and very nice design here, so it is wearable, it's not just scrap, I would probably say on the conservative side, right around like 250 bucks maybe for this ring alone. And this was a pretty good find, honestly. Ended up buying this on a Whatnot auction, and with all this jewelry that we had, this is gonna pay for almost all of it. So that was a pretty good score. Make sure to check out Whatnot auctions if you don't, because you can find items like this. Okay, so the next item is another ring here. This one is, however, this one is marked 18K. So this is a big fat ring marked 18K with a maker's mark in there. I hope you guys can see that. And so I'm gonna go ahead and run it through the same tests, besides obviously no diamonds, but we can go ahead and test it and make sure that this thing is real, and then we can weigh it out and all that good stuff. All right, so let's get this scale turned on, and we are looking at 18.2 grams, 18.2 grams. At the 18.2 grams, I would estimate that to have a value of probably right around $1,500. So that's an insane score. Now, let's do the acid test. All right, I want to make a nice big long line so that we can go ahead and get all the way up to 18K. Let me start out with the 10K. See how it does. All right, it's sitting there. It's starting to dissolve. Yeah, that definitely ate it up. Well, that tells you that this is probably fake, but I'll try the 14 and the 18 and see what happens, because you never know. Let's see here, this 14 is hot, man. It is smoking every time I open it. Yeah, that cleaned that right up. There's nothing left on that dot there. So let's try the 18K. And yeah, that dissolved right away. So conclusion on that, pretty simple. This thing is fake. It's unfortunate because fakes are very common in the jewelry industry. As you can tell by the evaluation, there's a lot of money in it. But man, it is so frustrating when you find it. We ended up finding this in a box inside of a unit, and it was down at the very, very bottom of the box, and we had missed it when we were filming, and so it never made the cut. And so I figured, well, we'll go ahead and show you guys how to test it and everything else, and unfortunately, this is not going to be a big score. All right, so our next item that we ended up coming across was again purchased on the Whatnot app as an auction, and this one here is also, this is marked Italy, and it is marked 14K on there. I don't know if it'll show up for you or not, hopefully, but it is definitely marked on there. So let's run it through the test. All right, first off, let's see how many grams it is. We're looking at 6.1 grams. If it's real, let's take a look and see if it's real or not. So we'll pull out our little scratch board here, and let me go ahead and undo this clasp, and we will run a nice little scratch across here, and we will start with the 10K. Let's see. All right, it seems to be staying so far. Yep, let's take out 14K. It should stay as well. And it does. So that's cool. I'm out of room, so I'm not gonna do the 18K. We know it's 14K already, so that's solid. So if I were to put an evaluation on this, and maybe I'm wrong, if so, please comment and let me know, because I'm definitely no expert, but 6 grams, I would think that this would probably be around 500 bucks. Around 500 for this alone, and that's pretty cool. All right, so this next item that we ended up coming across was extremely cool in my opinion. It's got vintage, it's gold, it's 14K, and it is also a functioning watch. You can wind this guy up and it will still work. It's a very old watch here. I don't know if it'll focus in on that or not, but the back here, the clasp is marked 14K, but not only is the clasp marked 14K, if you look on the inside here, on the back of it, it also says 14K gold right there. So let's run it through the test and see what it does. Okay, so first off, let's go ahead and get a weight on it. And we are looking at 16.7 grams. Okay, here's our scratch board. I'm gonna go ahead and give this thing a scratch with the clasp here. Let's see if this will pass the acid test or not. So we're gonna go ahead and do that. Now we got the 10K. Let's see the 10K there. We're going to put that on there. And hopefully this doesn't dissolve. See that? We're looking good so far. All right, we've got the 14K. It should not dissolve here either. and it is not dissolving. All right, and then of course the 18K, we know that will dissolve it. This should dissolve it with no problem because it is only 14K, and it did. It immediately went away. But that tells me that this watch is actually 14K as it's marked. Just for the basic weight of it and the fact that it does still work and it's very cool vintage design to it, I believe that it would probably go for more if it was a men's watch. For whatever reason, that seems to be the case. However, it's still got quite a bit of value. This, I would say, now correct me if I'm wrong, I would think would go for about $1,000. And this is a Movado watch. I didn't mention that earlier, so the brand I'm sure matters. But Movado watch, 14K. I tested the wind up, it still works. Everything is kosher on it. And I also cleaned it up, so now it looks a lot better. Man, what a score, what a score. And again, this was on a Whatnot auction that I was in, and I went ahead and I purchased it. And I think for everything that we bought on Whatnot, we spent about $500. So that's quite a bit of a profit. If you like what you've seen so far, please make sure to like our videos and subscribe. We'll have more content for resellers and all that type of stuff. But until next time, peace.